We all have many things that we want to accomplish, and a part of knowing our path is figuring out what is most aligned with us. A part of knowing and trusting yourself means that it's not going to be perfect. You won't figure out every single step of the way. You won't know everything. You won't stop making mistakes. I think mistakes are a part of it, and it's okay to feel doubtful. It's okay to feel like, where am I headed? Where is this going? Is this too much? Am I really speaking my needs? And so many of us can be in a moment, vicious cycle of overthinking, self-doubt, blaming, abandoning ourselves because that's what we think is right. And that's how we've been maybe treated, even. Maybe you've been in a household, an environment where you've been mistreated, right? Or you've been in a place where you're abandoning yourself for other people. It's not because you want to abandon yourself and it feels good, but if it's our default state, we don't know um we don't know what's the other side of it. And if we sit and question where those identities, those beliefs come from, we get to see that it's deeply embedded in the way that we treat ourselves, in the way that we speak to ourselves, in the way that we show up, and how we represent ourselves. We can either choose a path that we think is the best for us, but maybe something along our life or along our day comes in and tells us, hey, like this is not how you should be. You can't be this way. And we then go back, we step back because of a word or because of someone's actions, and then we doubt ourselves fully. And then you begin not trusting life, not trusting yourself, um, not trusting the path that you're walking on. Because every single person has a different path. Every single person has a different purpose. In alignment, when we all come together, you see that everyone's purpose is equal to them. It might be different, but it's equal. Every single person that you speak with and that you know now wants the same things. They want happiness, they want joy, they want to feel freedom. Uh, they want to feel like they can trust themselves and they don't want to abandon themselves. These desires all are there as our default. These desires only feel good when it's aligned with your values, when it's aligned with yourself. But if something doesn't feel right to you, doesn't speak to you, doesn't light you up, mm, doesn't kind of elevate you, make you feel excited, nothing else can work for you. And I was speaking to this woman the other day, and she was telling me how she wants to trust herself, she wants to believe in herself, she wants to be confident, she wants to speak up, she wants to create all these amazing relationships and align herself with what feels true for her. One thing that was, or one thing that was coming through her when I asked, what's stopping you? Like, what's happening there? What makes you think that you can't? Because there was definitely a limiting belief that was holding her back. The limiting belief was, I'm not good enough. The limiting belief was not the belief, but there was also an overthinking pattern that's happening. When we don't take action, we start to overthink. If we take action, then we can align ourselves with what's working so that we can begin to change it. And the other thing is trusting herself. So she was doubting herself. She was questioning where she's headed. And all of that was filled with doubt and shame and deepest desire to break free. But because those beliefs were holding her back, she wasn't able to access that, to access that freedom, to access that energy within her that can create, that can trust. What I told her was, I was just having a casual conversation, right? What if you can trust yourself? How would that look like? If you were to trust yourself, what action can you take in this moment? If you were to listen to that voice that you doubted for years, that came through because other people judged you for it, what would that look like? If you knowingly, even if you didn't fully believe it, if you just said, yes, let's go it, yes, yes. If she was to say yes to every single opportunity that comes in her way, even if it feels scary, even if maybe it's not the best case scenario or not the best thing that she has wished for, what if it's leading her to a path of fulfillment, a path of integrity, a path of trust, confidence, knowing. We all want to know, right? We all want to trust. We all want to just keep going in life, but it doesn't happen that way. There will be doubts along the way. There's going to be fear. There's going to be disappointment. There's going to be rejection. There's going to be hardships. There's going to be misunderstanding. There's going to be judgment. There's going to be struggles. If we spend our life trying to stop those, then we stop ourselves from flowing. Why do I say that? You are coming in the way of the natural path. You're coming in the way of a path that is most known to lead you to where you want to be. But because you are stopping that flow, you're stopping the opportunities, you are doubting yourself, trusting in your life, and that comes from self-trust and belief. Now, the moment we begin to doubt, the only thing that would help is to ask, is this doubt coming from fear? Is this doubt coming from a belief? Is this doubt coming from a past experience? If you learn to ask these questions and then trust and see what answer comes up. If it was from a belief, okay, can I challenge it? If it was from a experience, can I look back and be and ask, what did I learn from that experience? If it was coming from society's views or beliefs, can I challenge it perhaps? Can I ask, is this serving me in the moment? If it's not, why am I holding on to it? What am I gaining from holding on to it? Part of knowing ourselves, we need to ask certain questions. We need to ask if it's aligned with our values. That's why I always talk about values. I always speak of, am I doing, am I taking action based on values? Am I taking action based on fear? If it's based on fear, what are the results I'm getting? Is it um, fueling the fear? Is it challenging the fear? Um, or is it the truth? If it's not aligned with what you want and it's coming from fear, then the results that you get are accompanying that fear and perhaps reinforcing the fear more and more. And the more that fear lives in our body, it stops us from going after what we want. It stops us from going forward and we become stagnant and we stop trusting ourselves. So self-trust can be built by doing things that we say we're gonna do. If I say today, I'm gonna go for a walk right now, just after my call or just after work, and I do it every single day for the whole week, and I'm taking care of my body, I'm resting well, that trust begins to build. Not only in your body health, but it can also be applied to every single area of your life, in your health, in your business or finance, your work, relationships. It's all added. What I've come to learn too is that the more I was present in my body, because I do yoga, right? Um, and yoga connects you to your body, your sensations, your emotions, inner world. It's less about being in your head. So I was someone who struggled to be in her body, and I would trust what any thought comes up, any thought that pops and shoots. I trust it, I believe it, and I just go with it. As opposed to, no, like I really got to take control of my mind instead of letting my mind rule my body, rule my actions, rule my words, rule everything really in my life. The moment I just allowed my mind to just wander, but I didn't have to believe what it said necessarily. Because I know if you struggle with overthinking and being in your head and being logical, you can relate to this probably. So trusting myself and being in my body, sorry, has allowed me to trust myself because I'm very in touch with my inner world. So the inner world looks something like, if you're maybe new to those terms and you're like, what is she talking about? Um, Inner world is your thoughts, intuition, feelings, like your emotions, awareness, clarity, love, direction. That's quite a lot. I think that was like about 7 or 8 terms of what I mean by inner world. It's a simple word, right? But it has depth in it. Your inner world can be different. Everyone's inner world is different based on their awareness and their level of like where you are in life. If you're stressed, if you're worried all the time, anxious, in fear, your inner world can sound stress, worry, anger, fear, anxiety, worry. I don't know if I said worry, I said anxious. I did say stress, unhealthy, depressed, unhappy, right? So your how you see life is really based on your inner world and how you see yourself internally. So whatever it is that you're projecting onto others is because you're feeling it and you have it within, and that energy is stored in your body. Our energy, we need to shake it. We need to move it. We need to always be in touch. Inner world, you can be in touch with your inner world, right? When these things, the clouds, which was the things I just described, like the fear, the anxiety, the stress, these are all clouds that can fog the inner world. So your inner world by default is whatever you're experiencing in the moment. By default, if you see like us children, it's none of that. It's safety, it's love, it's connection, intimacy, confidence, peace. And all of that goes into the category of holding space, right? Of having safety. Without safety, there's none of it. There's no love, there's no connection, there's no authenticity, there's no depth, peace, joy, if we're anxious and agitated all the time. So to go back to our inner world, what can open that for you is meditation. Meditation can help you connect deeply to what you truly desire when the fogginess begins to dissipate. That fogginess, which was the stress, anxiety, and all the things you were feeling about yourself, and obviously what happens like externally, um, meditation is your way for it, practicing mindfulness, Uh, Little moments of pauses and even journaling can be tremendous, tremendous. And learning to go inwards when things are start to get heavy. What most people do when things start to get wild, they go external. So when they go external, that's when unhealthy habits come in. They smoking, addiction, like any form of addiction, unhealthy relationships, clubbing, drinking, numbing your feelings, running away from your feelings, leaning into unhealthy, like maybe overeating or even eating less. These things can all impact, and we run away, right? We run away instead of facing ourselves. I know it feels scary to face ourselves and look eye to eye, but that's the only way. I don't see there's any other way to changing our situation and really trusting ourselves other than going back to our truth and things that really feel connected to us. And the only way to do that, to go into the inner world, is to declutter, is to see what's causing these things, what's causing the fogginess that is covering up the inner peace and stillness and clarity that we have, and bringing in more presence into our day-to-day life, bringing more stillness and seeing the capacity of how far we can go by trusting ourselves. So let me ask you this then at the end is that when you trust yourself, what happens? Like when you trust yourself, what could possibly happen? What opportunities open up? What relationships can come in? Um, what would happen? How your life would change if you had that relationship with your inner world that's less sabotaging, more about compassion and understanding your situation and being still with our emotions. If internally we were chaotic, everything outside of us is going to be chaotic. I guarantee you 100%, 1000%. If there's no clarity of self, there's no clarity of others. There's no clarity in relationships, no clarity in your purpose, no clarity in your decisions, no clarity in basically anything you decide to do, dream for yourself, especially relationships, because that's where most people find challenging. I can't understand someone. Why is this person behaving a certain way? What is happening to this person? Or yada, yada, yada. And we have this whole list of imperfections of others and why they're behaving a certain way when we don't know what's happening within, so we can't really understand other people. So think about it. If you're not understanding your relationships, is there a part of you that needs your understanding? But because it's so foggy, there's no clarity, there's no enough presence that you don't know. Like you are scared, you are anxious about what can bubble up. If you're disconnected from your body and emotions, obviously that's definitely going to happen, no doubt. So how can we learn in our everyday life to bring in more presence, to bring in more clarity, to bring in more alignment, so that we are more intentional with relationships, with our careers, what we eat and how we fuel our body through movement, through any form of activity. So I guess I want to conclude and say that if these things are not important for you now, how would your life be if it stayed the same? If you didn't have presence, if you didn't have clarity, you would still look outside of you for answers, You want someone to regulate your emotions, you want someone to understand you, but do you really understand yourself? Do you really know who you are? Do you really know what you value in life? Do you really know what makes you? Do you really know what lights you up? Do you know what kind of relationships you want to be in? Do you know how do you want to be treated? Do you know what kind of life you want to live? I bet not. I bet not if you're here. And while it may feel scary, but integrating presence into your life can change all of that for you. And I'm a living witness of that. I live it every single day, not just through my words, but through intention, through my actions, in my connections, in my day-to-day life. Just little interactions with other people. How can I be more mindful? How can I be more intentional? How can I bring in more presence into this moment as opposed to thinking about the future and my past, the choices I made? And if I knew that I can't change any of that, why would I stress about it? Why would I bring in more scarcity, more stress, more chaos into my life, knowing that I'm grounded? And when you're grounded in the center and every single energy is aligned in your body, there's no space for chaos to come in because you're certain, because you have clarity, because you have this knowing. Applying this knowing to your relationships by speaking your needs, for example, applying that in your career and being certain, applying this in your day-to-day life interactions with other people, adding this to your creativity and art, adding this to activities that you do, because all of that can impact each other and can have either a positive interaction or a negative interaction, or it may ripple away all the things that weren't you anyways, people, things, careers, or whatnot. I can talk forever about this, but I just wanted to keep it short, simple, and that something that you can really understand and get to apply into your life right now as of this moment. If you don't feel the pain of where you are, you cannot change. And if things don't align, you can change now. You don't have to stay in that relationship. You don't have to comply to others. You don't have to play small. You don't have to do the things you don't want to do, but you think is good because someone told you and it just feels draining for you. Trust your pause, trust your intuition, and start aligning your actions with what you say. And that goes back to how much you trust yourself and life. And what's your belief about life? What's your belief about trusting yourself? What's your belief about living the life that you want based on love and purpose as opposed to fear and judgment? So that is it, guys, for today. I really hope this was valuable. Make sure you leave a comment down below if you have any questions or concerns or even feedback about anything I said or if you've ever experienced something like that. Or what's your journey right now in life? I just want to know. I'm curious to know where you are in life. And just start up conversation. So I hope to see you in the next one. Um, you can message me personally on Instagram. Either you can leave a comment down below. I would still be able to respond to you whenever I can. I just really enjoy replying and getting to know you better and kind of where you are in life, where you are in your relationships, where you are in your authentic path, and seeing how I can help. So I'll see you all next time.